Hi everyone, this is Charmander, and in this video, I'm going to be covering Island Raid, which is a major PvP event in the game Doomsday Last Survivor. So usually on Wednesdays, you need to register for Island Raid, and then the game will do a matchmaking process. So as you can see, we got a chance to register all the players that we have that plans on fighting during the event, and we did not register our players who do not plan on fighting during the event, or they prefer to stay back in our home region to focus on farming resources and get themselves ready for Archipelago Raid. Now, when you register your alliance, usually what will happen is there's going to be a ranking, in which case it will tell you where your alliance is going to be fighting at. So the strongest alliance will be fighting in the Apex War Zone, as you can see here. And then another set of players will be registered in the Elite War Zone. And finally, most players in this game are going to be registered in the Fearless War Zone. So the higher the war zone is, the better the rewards are, and the lower ones will have not as good of a reward, although the rewards are generally pretty good in PvP events, with the exception of Genesis War. So if you look at the individual rewards for Island Raid, you are going to get seasonal merit points, or DLS points, that you can use and exchange it for items. There's also the superb weapon frag choice box, which is really good. There's also the superb vest frag choice box, armament tracker, and honing chips. So all 5 of these items are amazing, as you can tell already. There's also other rewards that are quite good, like carbon steel and high polymer premium. Now, on top of that, there's also alliance rewards. So as you can see in the Apex Warzone, their rewards are so much better. They get so much more DLS points, lots of honing chips, lots of secret survivor folders, and signaling device. And you can see the prices start to dwindle as you go to Elite Warzone and finally to Fearless Warzone, where you get the least amount of prizes. Do keep in mind though that if you fight at Apex or Elite, there is going to be a lot more whale alliances. So if you are somebody that is not a whale, you probably don't have any room to play in Apex or Elite. For Elite, you need to be a minimum of low spend, and that's only for players that has been playing for a long time and they have an old account that's pretty well developed already. For the vast majority of players, including myself, I will be fighting in Fearless Warzone. I have fought in Elite Warzone once and I was definitely out of place, so I'm sticking to my lane, and my lane is Fearless Warzone. There's also merit rewards, and I think this is one of the biggest difference between the different war zones, because if you look at Fearless, the highest one that you can get is this one right here, while if you go to Elite, you start getting this amazing one where you get gravity propeller fragments. So this is a device, and golden devices are amazing, and this one actually has pretty good stats to begin with. And if you look at Apex Warzone, there's a lot of them that can be handed out to your members. So there's definitely a big benefit to be a whale and fight at Apex Warzone, Elite Warzone, and for Fearless Warzone, it's mainly good for getting points during PvP to boost up your account and get points from that manner. So currently my alliance has registered, and we are going to be at 2036 ranking, so mostly in the bottom brackets. And tomorrow I'm going to be covering what happens in the Island Raid event itself, starting with day 1 of Island Raid. All right, so it's now day 1 of Island Raid, and for day 1, usually what a lot of alliance will do at the start of the game is they'll look at the map and they'll try to scope out each of the different teams to try to form an alliance, and usually you would want to team up with the alliance that is the strongest. Unfortunately for us, the alliance that is the strongest, VL, did not want to ally with us because they wanted to compete with us for the outpost, so that makes perfect sense that the alliance did not go through. And unfortunately, VL is also the strongest alliance compared to all the alliances in Island Raid. So I've noticed when you play Island Raid, there's usually one dominant alliance that is stronger than all the other alliances. So in our case, we've been fighting VL actually, and they have 2 players that are ridiculously strong. They also have a strong chasey garrison, although their chasey garrison is more on the standard level. Unfortunately for my alliance, we struggled to fight against their chasey just because we don't have a proper Stella Eddie rally captain yet. We are looking to recruit. If somebody would like to join our alliance, be our Stella and Eddie rally captain, hopefully you have super weapon upgrade as well, and armaments over 3.7 million, if not higher. So we did struggle with that. We do have a player that is working on their Stella and Eddie. So they have Stella awakened, but not yet Eddie. So usually at the start of day 1 of Island Raid, each alliances will try to take their fishing village, which is the closest structure to your base, and this will give you a production of cement. So usually the fishing villages will give you some cement, the outpost will give you even more cement, and if you get the dead ruins, that's even more cement. So typically the more of the different fishing villages and outposts that you get, the more cement that you get, and cements are used to build towers. So as you can see, we have been building towers here, starting from here all the way here. We did get pushed back, so originally we had it all the way here. Unfortunately, we did have some players go AFK or go offline at the worst possible time, so they were zeroed as a result. So definitely you don't want to be sleeping when you are in a hostile zone. You want to go back to the helipad or something, or at least put a shield up. So if you cannot ally yourself with the strongest team in Island Raid, usually what you would do then is find the second strongest or third strongest alliance within Island Raid and you try to form a coalition with them. So coalitions are temporary alliance. Backstabbing can happen. So right now we are allied with EXE, and EXE wanted us to ally with XYZZ as well, and also NAR2. So NAR2 and XYZZ are friends of EXE. So we became allied with them just from the fact that they are already associated with this one particular alliance. The strongest alliance here is VL. So that's the one that we are trying to fight. And I think NCID would probably be the second strongest alliance. If I had to pick, I think the third strongest alliance here would probably be us, FTD. So two strongest alliance in the game are teamed up, which is pretty common when you play Island Raid. They try to skew the battle in their favor, which of course you want, because then essentially you would get better alliance rankings if you do really well, which of course will give you better rewards for this event for your alliance specifically. Other things in Island Raid to keep in mind is Island Trial. So for Island Trial, there is an island store, and you will get this thing called trial coins that you can use to make a purchase in the island store. If you pay additional money, I think it's $5 US, then you can unlock this other perks that you can purchase from the store as well. So I do think they're worth it if you are somebody that is collecting the superb armaments, as it will give you more superb armaments that you can purchase outside of what is free. And for every 5 million points that you get, you will get trial coins that you can use to purchase stuff in the island store. And ultimately, you want to get as much trial coins as possible so that you can buy as much of the good stuff in the island store as possible. You also get rewards the higher you rank. So if you can rank in the top 300, then you are going to be able to get additional prizes that you can see here on this leaderboard. So Island Raid just started, so it's hard to say what rank you're going to be in the end, but the more you fight, generally, the more points that you're going to get, especially if you're having favorable trades. So to give you an example of what a favorable trade looks like, I was fighting this person who was farming earlier, and you can see the trade is quite good because on the left side, it says 75,000 for me, and then for Monique, it's 420,000. That means they have worse trades than me. The lower the figure for your side, the better it is, and the higher figure for your opponent, the worse it is for them. With that being said, we did have some really bad trades earlier as well, especially when I fought Inca, who is super strong, so definitely not a good trade in my case. During Island Raid, there's also something called Speed Rescue. So basically, they give you this thing called Rescue Elixirs that will immediately heal 5,000 of your wounded troops, which is really good. It really comes in a pinch when there's a big battle happening and you need to recover your troops as fast as possible. There's also the aid station where 80% of your lost troops will come back after the first day, 100% on the second day, and 100% on the third day. And by the third day, I mean after Island Raid ends. So the death rate here is also 80 plus 5%. 5% is from the privilege subscription. And that means that, let's say 100 of your troops die, you get 85 of them back. The 15% will become permanent death, essentially. So that's about it for day one of Island Raid. If there's any major battles, I'll try to capture it. Otherwise, I will continue this explanation on the second day of Island Raid. All right, so it is now day two of Island Raid. So current status is I woke up and my alliance again is slowly getting pushed back to our fishing village, which is not good. But the main goal for day two of Island Raid actually is to capture the outpost. So our main opponent, the VL Alliance, I've actually been chatting with some of the VL players. Even though we're opponents, we've been chatting. So the goal for day two of Island Raid is actually to capture the outpost. And besides capturing the outpost, there is also a feature called Coin Pursuit, in which case you can do a helipad raid. So basically you can click on a helipad and you can declare war on it, but only R5s can do it. So if you are the leader of an alliance, then you can declare war. So you can press declare war here. And afterwards, you have to construct a temporary helipad beside the outpost. So you do need to send a troop close to the outpost, construct it. It is automatically constructed once your troops enter it, but you do need to send someone to construct it. So earlier, because our alliance ally controls one of the outposts here and the other ally of ours controls the other outpost here. So we only had one choice of which outpost to invade. So we ended up getting this one right here, and we got the coins from this one. And then after we invaded them, we also went and helped out our allies here a little bit and fight off this alliance right here. So that's pretty much for day 2 of Island Raid. Right now, we're just waiting for the second chance to do another helipad assault, so that will take a few hours. So we're kind of just staying put, recovering our resources because the first day worth of war has been quite tough. But we'll see what happens after we reach either the second helipad assault or day 3 of Island Raid. All right, so it's day 3 of Island Raid, and on day 2, it was quite insane. So if you look at the coalition list right here, this alliance XYZZ has actually backstabbed us yesterday night, and it was absolutely one of the craziest backstab lying deal that someone has ever done. And they tried to blame it on EXE, and they also created a coalition with VL, who is the strongest alliance in this Island Raid event. So we didn't know that they were actually lying, and they actually went to VL and told them that we betrayed them, which is ridiculous because we were teaming up with them the whole time. How can we betray them? And they claimed that, oh, it's because you didn't attack during the time that we designated. I actually mentioned to XYZZ that we can't attack because our players were not on right now. So we asked them to delay it, but they went to attack anyways, and then they claimed we betrayed them, which is absolutely ridiculous. But the thing is, when you go to this event, Island Raid is actually one of the events that has the highest backstabbing rate. It is known for backstabbing. So yes, it's frustrating it happened, but we were also not surprised because there's just a lot of alliances in Island Raid that will do anything to get a higher rank. With that being said, I did get a chance to speak with someone from VL. This alliance is really cool. They're very honorable. So there's a guy that I spoke to there. Great guy. He's probably watching this, so you know who you are. And we managed to come to an agreement where we asked them if we can get revenge on XYZZ. And they're totally cool with it, which is super awesome with them. They're really chill about that. So we actually made our way to XYZZ on the last day of Island Raid. It's been a crazy Island Raid. This alliance, XYZZ. The day before, on day 2 of Island Raid, they decided to betray our alliance by making up some lies, and I think they were trying to do it to secure second place, which I think was a shitty move. Regardless, thanks to VL, who was kind enough to allow us to get our revenge on this backstabbing alliance, we are now conducting a major barbecue on them. So it's just one of those super satisfying moments when you play this game, when you get backstabbed and then justice is served with a barbecue like this. So it's kind of the lesson that don't be a jerk and don't backstab people, because you don't know what's gonna happen to you next. And it's still going on right now. We've been fighting them for hours actually. So we actually made our way down from our base here all the way down, and for the last 13 hours we've been fighting them nonstop. We managed to lock them in kind of, but they've been trying to break through here from the east side. We did get a chance to garrison our tower, so one right here and one right here. So for this one, we actually is using a chasey garrison. So our main garrison is actually not in this garrison right now, but Grumpy is our backup garrison. So our main garrison guy, his name is Tess, so he pulled out because he was fighting on the field, but we actually switched to him because his armaments is stronger, so his chasey is a better garrison. And then for our other tower, we got our new member, Garrison Power, who is our new infantry garrison captain, and he did a great job doing garrison on this tower to prevent them from breaking through. And both towers actually got rallied, and we managed to repel them. For the area right here, actually, they built a tower several times, and we managed to break it several times. But one time they did get through because they did a good job refilling the tower over and over again. And when they did break through, they started rallying our towers. Luckily, we eventually broke through their tower themselves and they gave up. So we ended up taking their village 6 just to help us get some cement for this big assault. And we also locked themselves out from this side. So if they tried anything, we do have a proper garrison here as well. So Garrison Power has a regular Riven on this side, and he is using Thunder and Victor on the other side. So we are pretty established for this event in regards to having infantry and chasey garrison. Although we are still recruiting more chasey garrison captains and infantry garrison captains because they're not always online. They do have to go to sleep. So if you're somebody that's looking for an alliance, we are seeking to recruit more infantry garrison captains as well as rider chasey garrison captains. And finally, if you have an awakened Ethan with high armaments over 3.7 million, we would love to have you also be our range garrison captain. So anyways, the goal for the third day of Island Raid is actually to go to the middle and take the Dead Ruins. So VL has it, and pretty much if you have the Dead Ruins, you're guaranteed to win. There's also other ways to earn points. So for example, if you look at the current ranking, so despite the fact that XYZZ doesn't have any more fishing village or outpost, they still have a lot of points because actually on the previous day, they were able to do 2 helicopter raid, and every helicopter raid is about 90,000 points, I believe. So they did 2 of it, and they ended up getting 180,000 points. And I also believe that when you hold on to the outpost until reset, then you are also eligible to earn additional points. So from my understanding, they earned maybe 360,000 points if I have my numbers correctly, just from the sake of holding that outpost until the end of the second day of Island Raid. So as usual, we're in the 5th place. I don't know if we can rank higher. The event is still going on. The war is still going on. The enemy's just taking a break. We're also taking a break because it's been a long 12-hour fight. But I do think that with 100% confidence, VL will secure first place. For second place, it's definitely going to be EQLB because if you look at the map, they've actually taken the vast majority of fishing villages. As you can see here, they have an outpost here and an outpost here. So they got several outposts already. So 2 outposts, 2 fishing village. They're definitely solid in regards to gaining that second place. For third place, it's not sure yet. It depends on what happens with the rest of the players here. We are hoping to keep the fishing village right here and also the outpost right here. So we'll find out if we're able to secure those. If we're able to secure those, maybe we would rank 4th place or 3rd place. We'll find out at the end of this event. You also get additional rewards based on your ranking. So we have the member ranking right now, and I think there's an additional reward based on how you rank within your alliance itself. So it's not with all the other players, it's within your alliance. So those are the extra rewards that you get. And then obviously, the higher your team ranks in the event, the more merit chest that your alliance would be eligible to get. There's also quests that you would also see in Archipelago raids such as Rally's Call. There's also Speed Rescue, as I've mentioned before, where you get rescue elixirs to heal 50,000 troops, and also an aid station to get back some of the troops that has been sent to your aid station. The Great Pirate King, I don't think you get any additional reward for this. I think this is just more for vanity because I don't see any rewards for having the leaderboard here. I know in Archipelago raid they have War Meets War, so it does get you some additional rewards, but here I don't think it gives you anything whatsoever. So I'm not even sure if there's any point to doing it, honestly. So it seems like it's more for vanity reasons. So anyways, that's about it for the quick rundown on how Island Raid works. It's one of the events that happens once a month in this game. It's my personal favorite PvP event in this game, despite the fact that my alliance has had bad luck in this event, especially with backstabbing. So I'm hoping that eventually in the future we would eventually win first place, but I'm not sure when that would happen. We're looking to build up our roster and hopefully we have enough players to really be able to rank higher in Island Raid in the future. Anyways, that's about it in this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.